We're here at the NBA pre-draft camp again. We got David Griffin of the Phoenix Suns, the senior basketball director.
Yeah, whatever. Senior vice president of basketball operations.
He's big time. That's all you need to know. How you doing today, Dave?
Doing well. How are you, John?
I'm doing great.
Good.
How you enjoying the pre-draft camp so far?
It's good. It's good. You know, it's a pretty deep group. Everybody complains that there aren't first-round picks per se, but I think this is a year where there's going to be more kids drafted than in the past, and they've done a good job. The committee's done a real good job.
Right. When you go into the pre-draft camp setting and looking at individual talent, what are some of the skills that you look at in players, you know, trying to make a decision on who to draft and who not to draft?
I think everybody's kind of the same. They're looking for people who have a feel for the game and a skill set that makes sense for your team. Some guys need guards to be able to do certain things that other teams may not really be focused on, and the same for your bigs. So I think everybody has a certain skill set that suits their style.
Right.
And I think that's what everybody's looking for.
Right. You guys are drafting 15. That's probably a little bit too high for any of the guys here, probably. Yeah.
Probably.
But in the second round, you guys have your pick, right?
Yeah, we actually have Cleveland's pick in the second round, which is 48.
Right.
We won one of the only coin tosses we've ever won there, so
right.
We were tied with 48-49. So this year, that's actually a pick we think makes our team and has some real value. And DJ Strawberry last year at 59 had great value, so
right.
We're excited about it.
You think there'll be any good big men around? It seems like a good class for bigs, no?
Yeah, it's a good class for bigs. I think it's also a kind of raw group of bigs, and so beauty's going to be in the eye of the beholder there. So I think it could be a group that could really be good for us late, because the best of what's left may be just as good as the best of what was taken. So.
Right. When you guys had Mike as your coach, you had a pretty firm system in place. You kind of knew what kind of players maybe you were looking for. Now that you don't have that, how do you go into this draft trying to, you know, find the right guy for your fit when you don't have a coach?
In our situation, we're looking for the best player available. I mean, with or without a coach, we have a pretty good grasp of what we're lacking.
Right.
So I think we'd like to address some of those key issues. And, you know, from a system standpoint, it won't be quite as significant for us to get a guy necessarily who fits a certain mold, but a guy who is an overall basketball player. That's really what we need.
What are your thoughts on what you've seen here so far in Orlando?
I think there's kids that have helped themselves. I think, you know, there's the argument that's made that you can hurt yourself being here, and I just don't see how that's true. If you make plays on either end of the court, people notice. And if you're an NBA-sized athlete with a good size-to-skill ratio, you're going to play well here. So I think people make mistakes not coming to this. I see the argument, but I just think people make a big mistake. Right.
You think we're going to get to the point ever that guys are you know, guys in the 20s and maybe the late teens show up to play here in Orlando?
I do. Because I think we're working that direction now. I think we may be able to address certain issues in the system right now that maybe keep that from happening. And, you know, if making this combine significant is something that people try to do, we can do it.
Right.
It's just there has to be a consensus of that.
Any thoughts on what you guys are looking at 15? Is there a specific position, or are you just going to maybe target the top guy that falls off the board?
We're blessed to be able to take the best player.
Right.
I don't think there's a position we need to fill per se. Instinctively, you'd like to say big or backup point guard, but I think all 30 teams would say the same thing. So.
Right. Does it need to be a guy that can play right away, or are you going to maybe someone that is 2 or 3 years down the road?
I think we'd like to try to get somebody who's ready.
Okay.
If that's possible.
Right. Okay, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, John.